I know, I know, I know. There is no block on Sundays, but I wanted to jump on this story, okay? We usually take Sundays and Mondays off, so I think Mondays it'll be. Tonight, I want to talk about this. This is impromptu, so if you are here, I am grateful. This was really, really, truly last minute. I reached out to my people to see if they were available. They're available, so I said, let's do this. We're not going to be here long, but I did want to touch on this subject because it's growing them big, hairy legs. I always talk about these stories do, and people are running with it. And I think it's something that should be addressed. Tonight's topic is Michael B. Jordan corny. You guys are like, what are you talking about, Jen? Michael B. Jordan is the shizzle. We talking about Killmonger. We talking about Creed. We talking about Heartthrob. We talking about sexiest man alive. So a couple days ago, Michael B. Jordan was on a red carpet and had an interesting run-in with one of his old high school acquaintances. Before I get into what it is, I'm gonna bring my people up, okay? But I thought it really, really it merited some discussion because we hear this a lot, right? We hear that women didn't like a guy back in high school, and then the guy blows up and he turns into this beautiful swan, right? He goes little caterpillar out of the cocoon and becomes this amazing butterfly. And then the women, allegedly, supposedly, if you believe Facebook memes, all look like shit. While the guy looks amazing, and then the guy doesn't want her anymore. So this is a little nuanced, and we're going to get into it. I thought it was interesting. There's also some confusion as to what women said what, and I'm going to clear that up tonight. So I'm glad you're here. Don't forget, I am on the block with Jen on all social media platforms. If you want to support the show, feel free on this good Lord Sunday, your Lord, not mine. Cash App on the block with Jen, or super chat me in the chat on the right if you want to support the show and help mama keep our church lights on, because we have church here too, just a different type of church. So welcome everybody. We're going to get into this. I have some visuals for you. Okay. I want you to see the video yourself so you could come up with your own conclusions and you know what I'm talking about, and we can dissect from there. Chat, hold me down. Let me know what you think in the chat. Let me bring up my people real quick. The always lovely and talented, and was ready on the spot today. Okay, that is why we're here. Lily from YB Limited. Hello, mama. I'm feeling the blonde. I'm feeling the blonde.
Thank you. I was like 20 minutes ago giving Luz and Isaiah.
Hello. Listen, I just got back. I went to brunch today. Yes, the Bronx girl brunches sometimes.
Okay.
There's actually a restaurant out here in Vegas called Sobao, and it's a Puerto Rican restaurant. Sobao is actually one of our very traditional breads, homemade breads. So the guy, Wesley, he's a chef and he's opening up a restaurant. And Lily, you know this because we ran into the place together.
Yes, the guy we met last week.
Yes, we met him last week. Let me say that. Today was the day for his, he did a restaurant takeover where we got to sample a lot of his foods, but his grand opening isn't yet. It's going to be in a couple months.
Okay. Give me the tea.
So the food was absolutely amazing. I had this short rib on like this Spanish plantain with an egg on top. He brought out little crumpets afterwards as like a little treat for dessert. I had a virgin lemonade, something or other that was like spicy but not spicy, a drink. It was amazing. I'd have it again. And I'm really, really picky. So when I say I like food, it's good because I'm super-y duper-y picky. But it was nice. It was a nice turnout. A lot of people supported him. He's going to have the grand opening in a couple months. And he gave me some sobao to take home. Sobao is that bread, traditional Puerto Rican bread, homemade bread. So I got some in the kitchen. So I'm really excited about that. And then on my way home, I'm checking, the timelines like we all do. And I'm seeing this Michael B. Jordan thing keeps getting talked about.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, let's talk about it because it's layered, right? Women catch a lot of heat for dissing guys back in high school, junior high school. And everybody gets older. And what do the guys complain about? That now she's fat. Now she has 3, 4, 5 kids, and they don't want him anymore. But the lady is all ready to get with the guy. If you let Facebook memes tell the story. That is what they say. But we're going to dissect it. And I got the video. Thank you so much for the super chat. I want my vision back. I want my vision back says, would y'all consider Michael B. Jordan to be a lame, a square, or corny? Was he one and no longer one? I'm going to answer that. Lily, you can go first.
Well, to me, I don't know which category. He falls kind of in one of those categories today to me.
Okay.
He's not my type. I
Okay.
do think that I do recognize that he's a handsome man. I'm never going to take that away from him. He's a handsome man, just not my type. Just don't do it for me.
Okay.
I wouldn't, cause I wouldn't say corny,
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't say lame.
Right. What choices he gave us? He said lame, square, or corny.
Square, but I think square is pretty cool at
Okay.
this age.
Okay.
I mean, coming from what I've come out of, I'm kind of like going towards the other end of the spectrum, but
Mhm.
he falls more into the square category. But what he gives me is that behind closed doors, he's not what these women think that he is,
Like
and
most celebrities.
like most celebrities. And I'm going to keep it real, like us. You know, like that's why I will never date a fan, because you've already put some fantasy in your head about who I am, and I'm not going to be able to live up to that. So that's what I get from him. I believe that whatever he looks cooler on
Mm-hmm.
film,
Mm-hmm.
these people are writing the scripts. They're,
Mm-hmm.
there's stand-ins, there's stunt doubles, there's a lot of lighting and trickery and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is very contrived. So I think he's not as cool or as fun as a lot of these women think that he probably is.
Okay, so you said cool and fun because I want people to understand lame, corny, square. What's the opposite of that? What would we say about a guy?
Right. That'd be like, yeah, cool, lit, yeah,
Okay. All right.
spontaneous.
Okay. So let me address this comment here. Oh, people always misquoting.
I,
Stan Bravo, thank you for the comment. He says, Jen, I know you've called plenty of guys corny because they weren't in the streets. So have you ever regretted it, or are they still corny to you? Here's the thing. My version of corny isn't someone that isn't from the streets. First of all, I'm from the streets. Let's get that straight. And I've always veered towards dating guys that weren't quote unquote from the streets because I was a guy from the streets, so to speak. I did it all. I did it all in the street. I was in the streets, right? Everything you could think of. And I don't have to get into that, but I was that girl, right? I was in the motherfucking streets with the rest of the thugs and everybody else, whatever, however you want to paint it. So I always leaned towards guys that were nerdy, that were book smart, that were Southern, anything that wasn't quote unquote Bronx, New York, or Timberlands, right? But for some reason, people think because I'm that person that I automatically would gravitate towards a guy with the Timberlands and the bubble coat. And that was never my type. Also, corny to me is not gender specific.
mm-hmm.
I know plenty of corny broads. Okay. But you have to understand that, like Lily said, first of all, we're in the industry and we've also dated celebrities. Okay. Celebrities are larger than life on your television and on your radio. 9 times out of 10, and I say 9 times out of 10, and I'm being generous, when you spend time with these quote unquote celebrities that live these lives of being cool and edgy behind closed doors, and it's just you and them in a living room in a remote control, they are fucking lame. They are fucking corny. They're
Mm-hmm.
not spontaneous. Okay, they're not exciting. They're not very they're not very humorous, and it's because their job is being all of that.
Yep.
Their job is being all of that. So it's no different than a guy who collects garbage for a living. He's not going to necessarily want to come home and deal with the garbage in his house. He doesn't want to take the garbage outside. Probably doesn't want to recycle because his life is, you know what I mean, dumping garbage. So similarly, if your life is being out there and you're the dopest R&B singer, or you're the dopest rapper, you're an actor that jumps out of planes, when you come home, more than likely you're going to be lame and corny and not spontaneous. You're probably not even going to want to go outside much.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. That is especially athletes.
Mm-hmm. So I've never, to answer the question in short and long, I've never called a guy corny who I still don't think is corny.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm not that girl who, again, this is a tad bit nuanced, because I'm not that girl who, since junior high school or high school, I went off and had 4 or 5 kids, and now I'm 250 pounds, and now I'm hoping, wishing, and praying that the guy I call corny is paying me attention. I'm not that girl. If you were corny to me back then, you're probably corny to me now, unless you changed, you know what I mean, your swag. Another thing is, there's nothing wrong with thinking that somebody's corny to you,
Right.
because you may just be corny to me. You may not be corny to the girl, you know what I mean, across the street. But this is a little layered, because the girl that did call Michael B. Jordan corny went into race and who he dates. So this is layered. This isn't just, oh,
Oh,
I
I
think
didn't
you're corny.
know. Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
and they're
know.
confusing the two women, and I want to clear that up tonight. It's two different women. The one they think called him corny did not call him corny, but she's the one that went to school with him. Two
Okay.
different women we're talking about, and I'm going to explain who. Thank you so much, Larry Grant. Appreciate you. Okay, guys. Again, leave it in the chat, and also you're welcome to come up tonight. But you know how we do. You have to show your face. We don't argue with avatars here. So, Lily, let me explain to the people who's who, first of all, okay?
Yes.
So, the woman that called Michael B. Jordan corny on a podcast, okay, there's two women, they're media personalities. Her name is Dominique the Diva. She called Michael B. Jordan corny, right? The woman on the red carpet who said,
Okay.
I went to school with you back in the day, did not call Michael B. Jordan corny. She did, on that podcast, say, yeah, we used to go to school together. We used to make fun of his name because his name was Michael Jordan. And he would come to school like with his headshots and things like that. And that's how we remember him. But because those two women were on the same podcast, when Michael B. Jordan saw one of them on the red carpet, he just basically said, oh, yeah, you call me corny. But he was confusing her with the other girl who actually
Because
said it.
I was confused because
Okay.
I heard the corny quote, then I
Yes.
clicked on the video and saw the red carpet thing, and then I was confused. I was like, well, I said, well, maybe there's something I'm missing. Well, obviously there was. Okay.
That's what it was. That's like you and I having a conversation right now. And let's say Haran is a musician, right? A famous musician. And I'm like, oh my God, that dude's so corny. And then you say, oh, I went to school with him. I remember we used to make fun of his name, Haran DeMarco. And now you're interviewing him on the red carpet. And then he says to you, oh, yeah, you called me corny. And then you're like, no, it wasn't me. You misquoted me. That was Jen who called you corny. That is what
That's going
happened.
to happen though. You know that's
Right.
going to happen. Yeah, in the
Oh, it's going
future.
to happen.
Yeah, people are going to. It's like, child, if one of us said it, all of us said it. So it is what it is.
Right. Perfect. If one of us said it, all of us said it. So the girl, Dominique the Diva, the one who called Michael B. Jordan, who actually called Michael B. Jordan corny, has doubled down. So you can imagine her Instagram is like, I don't give a fuck. I called them corny. I'm doubling down. Now black women can't call black men corny. And I think any black man that dates white women is corny. Yeah. So now it grew some legs, right? And I have her direct quotes that I'm going to read off for you. Okay. So I want to show everybody what the video was that got everybody confused. All right. First and foremost, this is Laurel. I don't know how to pronounce her name. L'Oreal. Is the girl.
She probably L'Oreal when she back home in the hood, but she
Okay.
Yeah, you know how that go.
Okay, so L'Oreal is the girl on the red carpet with the yellow hair. Okay, that is not the woman that called him corny. This is the woman here, Dominique the Diva. She called Michael B. Jordan corny.
Okay, interesting.
This is Dominique the Diva. And don't nobody come after me talking about you looked for the worst picture. That was the last picture she posted on her own Instagram. So if it's good enough for her own Instagram, then it's good enough for us. Okay.
Right. Approved.
All right. I didn't Google and I went straight to her Instagram. That was the first picture there. That's the picture I grabbed. So that's Dominique the Diva. She's the one that called Michael B. Jordan corny. He confused the two. And here is the interview, how it went down on the red carpet. I thought he was still gracious, even though he thought he was talking to someone who called him corny.
Mm-hmm.
And we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
Oh, the corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say. I said we used to make fun of the name, but yeah, he is obviously killing things out here. How is the difference between you actually directing and working with the same people that you were directed with versus?
It was awesome. It's a family vibe. Last nine years of my life, I spent on the Creed films.
Okay. So I thought
That
he
was
was
awkward.
gracious. Very awkward. But I thought he was gracious to continue because anybody else, they'd be like, fuck you, bitch. Like
Right.
I ain't gonna, you know what I mean? It's easy to walk past you on a red carpet when so many people want to interview me anyway, right? So
And
he could have easily been like,
no tea, no shade, but unfortunately, usually black artists and black entertainers usually walk past black media.
correct, because
So
they
the
want
fact that he can stop,
entertainment tonight, right?
right?
So that's not the one that called him corny. As I explained, it was Dominique the Diva, the girl on my thumbnail, who called him corny. Now, what has happened? What is Dominique the Diva's stance since it happened? Well, I will read it for you from her direct from her Instagram stories verbatim. So I'm not paraphrasing today.
Okay.
She said, anything I said once, I'll say it again. Nick Cannon is corny too. He got mad women, babies, and money. I thought we were all doing our Ciara prayer for a nice, corny Russell Wilson to save us from these toxic niggas. No, corny ain't bad. That's 70% of the niggas in this industry. Let's see how y'all act when he brings his next white girlfriend with him on the red carpet. Toodles. That is her stance. She also went on to say, any black man that dates white women is corny to me.
Oh,
Whatever emoji. I guess the PR relationship with Lori helped y'all forget, but I didn't. And then
ooh,
there's pictures of Michael B. Jordan walking with what appears to be white women or Latin women. I cannot tell. They're presenting a little ethnically ambiguous. Not
mm-hmm.
sure. Dominique the Diva said she wasn't surprised that he would go to such great lengths because she always got the impression when in his presence that Jordan is a corny, nice guy. I don't mean that as a slight, she said. We all know the nice, corny guys treat you best. So she went on to say, hey, it wasn't an insult. It was kind of a compliment because corny dudes treat you the best. Are we not all doing the Ciara prayer for a Russell Wilson? So now having that information, Miss Lily, what do you think about what she's saying? Is there more behind this? Is there resentment that
Oh,
Michael B. Jordan has a lot of options and maybe a woman like her does not?
clearly. I mean, I hate to be like this.
Uh-oh.
It's just that when you look at this young lady up against a Michael B. Jordan, even if he wasn't Michael B. Jordan, let's just put him, like that face and that body next to this lady, like
Okay,
still
tell the
forgetting
truth.
that
Let's shame the devil.
he's still forgetting that he's Michael B. Jordan.
Right.
I mean, the more I look at him, though, like I really am not attracted to this man. But anyway,
Mhm.
it's just like, he still does present to me as corny. But I mean, I like certain versions of corny. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot here. I'm seeing that she's triggered by the interracial dating.
Okay.
I see she's triggered by the fact that this man, who she probably gave no play to, done blown up. And but anyway, and he did her podcast and everything like that, and it was something else that she said in it that had me give a pause for concern as well, because she was all over the place.
Do you mean at the end of the red carpet interview?
No,
Oh,
it was
you talking about the podcast itself?
no, the stories. It was something she said in the stories that I was like,
Oh,
oh,
okay.
She's all up. It sounds like she just punching in the air. I guess people coming at her so hard, and it just sounds like she just
because she's very much like, I don't give a fuck what y'all think. I said what I so now she's taking that stance like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So it's not like she was just punching whoever she can get to.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is this. There are times that even if you are right, you need to shut up. Okay? I'm gonna give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
If you are punching up, no matter if you're right, sometimes you can look like a hater. And then if you are presenting as like that average, not average, but that aesthetically pleasing thing that most people go after in this country, then they're gonna use, it's like, girl, you better have all your ducks and everything lined up in the row, you know, before you start making no. And then he's like the beloved, he's like America's sweetheart. Like,
he is.
You know, they love him. So it's like, girl, like, you better have all your ducks in a row. You could have been right, but it's coming off. And honestly, even if she had all her ducks in a row, it's still feeling like there's something beneath that it's not her just calling some guy from high school corny.
Right.
That's what it's not. It's giving me more than that.
Like I didn't like, I'll bring this comment up because that's something I noticed too, which I thought was corny. See, it's not gender specific. She gaslit him though. She acknowledged that she used to call him corny when she said, well, you're not corny now. So she wasn't the one that called him corny, but she did, so to speak, double down for the other girl, which I thought was corny. Right. Yeah, before he walked away, he was already walking away. And she was like, well, you're not corny now. And then she went on about her business. I thought that was corny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was corny.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, maybe yeah. Because she wasn't like, that wasn't her. I mean, even if he mistook her, like later on, he would have found out, oh, you know, that was the wrong girl, right? He probably would still say, fuck both of them. But you know.
Oh, absolutely. 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 So back to what you said, Lily, a woman that looks like that, right? And you know, I'm big on when people are talking shit, I'm big on who's saying that.
Yes.
I just want, but that's why I don't pay attention to half the clowns and idiots that talk shit about me online, because you can easily just trump whatever they're saying by going to look at them.
That's it.
Just go, you don't even have to hear where they're from, how much money they make, you don't, just go look at them. And then you're like, oh, that's why. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you get better soon.
Yes.
Get well soon.
Together. It's all making sense.
Right. And sometimes people just don't like you because you have more options. And I'm not even talking about dating options. I'm talking about options in life.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Places you can go, people you can meet, money you can get, exposure you can get. Sometimes people don't like you just because you have more options in life in general. So going back to this woman, when you look at her in that picture, and I'm sure, can she get dolled up and look fabulous? Fuck, we all can with makeup and hair. Right? We all can. Every single one of us can go from a 5 to a 15, right? With the glam squad.
I just did in the last 20 minutes, but it's just
hello.
Yeah, okay.
Right? We can do it. That's the magic of makeup and hair, right? A lot of the chicks that you guys, you know what I mean, fall over and melt for are regular, very regular looking chicks if you caught them at Walmart in their Uggs. Right? So, but when you look at a woman like that, talking about Michael B. Jordan, and then she throws in he's dating white women, you're like, oh, this is something else.
Right. And what was the relevance of it in 2023? What was the relevance of him being like, what made you bring that up? There was a reason why you brought that up. That was it was a dig. It was a very not well thought through dig, but it was a dig.
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, this is interesting. Now, the whole, oh, look who's back. How the fuck you back when I blocked your ass? How'd you back here? Like, I literally blocked you. How are you back?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I just clicked the StreamYard link. You blocked me?
Yeah, I blocked you.
Why?
Like, how the fuck are you back? Because you're a bitch, dude. Because you're a bitch. That's
I
why I
know why
blocked you.
though. I didn't know you blocked me.
Like this is you're such a you're corny. Thank you for you always come up right on time. You're so apropos. You're
No,
corny.
I thought it would be funny though. Like I just wanted to
No,
say
it's
that.
not. Goodbye. You're not gonna say shit on my. I blocked this bitch and he's back. You know what? I will give him this. I will give him
He's
this.
resourceful.
He's resourceful and the most apropos motherfucker I've ever met on YouTube. And I've met some clowns on YouTube, believe you me. If you've seen me for the past 2 years, whoa, have I interacted with the Dusties on this platform. But this cat here, like I blocked him. How he got back up here, but they're like vermin, like rodents. Like they just find a way back. You get rid of 3 and they will find their dusty way back through a fucking hole. I told you. And he's still backstage like a weirdo, which is corny. I told you, you can come back on my panel, but you got to pay. Throw some money in that super chat and I'll let your stupid ass back up. Throw some money in the super chat. If you can't afford it, then get the fuck off the block. These dudes are fucking weirdos. Throw something in the super chat and you could come back up. Got to pay to get on the block now, bitch. Anyway, No Saint, how are you, darling?
Ain't no saint.
I don't know what I just came on to here, but
you just pulling up to the block, darling. You just pulling up to the block.
oh
That's
my, that's that could be a a strike tax, like a sin tax or something. Him to throw the money in there to get back on. Like, okay, you messed up. Like the swear.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that goes to anybody, man or woman, because I've kicked women off this bitch too. That goes for men or women. You lose the fucking right and privilege to hang out on the block with us. And I don't care. And here's the thing. People could be like, oh, she thinks you're all that. No, bitch, you just have 49 other million YouTube channels you could go beat off in.
Yeah.
You have 49 million YouTube channels you could beat off in, and these cats are used to doing reaction videos and dissing people for hours on it and talking shit and going crazy in the comments. I'm just saying you cannot do that here. Okay.
I think he's going to make the donation.
Great. And if you want to come back here, you have to pay. So whoever's listening, this is a great lesson for y'all. You act a monkey ass fool on my panel, you have to pay to get back in. Okay. You have to pay to cross the troll bridge. All right?
The troll bridge.
All right. Pay to cross the troll bridge. But I blocked him. I blocked him. He was talking real fucking spice. This motherfucker imploded in my comments, right? And I give people chances in my comments. I say that all the time. You guys can talk in my comments, go ham, do whatever you want to do, right? Just don't make yourself a nuisance. And he made himself a nuisance. Don't make yourself a nuisance. But he could come back. He could come back, and whatever chick we kicked out of here before, they can come back, but you got to pay now. See, that's the penalty.
I think it's fair.
It's more than fair. It is more than fair.
Yeah, it actually is more than fair because a block means block. So.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how, unless he's coming through another, I don't know, weirdos. Anyway, that's corny. See, corny is not, you're not from the streets. That's not
like, being a D dealer and, having a prison rap and everything like that doesn't make you not corny.
that doesn't make you. What's up, Miss Ruth? How are you, darling?
That's actually a toxic way of thinking, but okay.
Right. So, what did Demetrius say? Demetrius said, I mean, to be honest, she sounds lame because she did policing. I thought she was. I thought that was corny that she did that, like kind of like trying to throw a dig at him when he was already walking off, right? And it's funny because we spoke about it before. Everybody's looking for this viral moment. But if you want longevity in this business, people forget it's all about networking. It's all about relationships. So if you're the asshole on the red carpet who wanted that Instagram viral moment and you threw something at this man, remember, whether you think Michael B. Jordan is corny or not, he's an A-lister.
Yep.
And A-listers make phone calls.
Yes, they do.
Okay. So, I thought that was dumb, but hey, I'm not going to tell you how to run your business. You want to, rag on Michael B. Jordan so you could get your 15 minutes Instagram likes? Go ahead.
And this is Do you think another reason why people don't want to stop at black media is because of that type of shenanigans?
Ooh, that's a good question. I always thought that they didn't want to stop because I know that was a big deal. Like,
Yes.
just to explain to people, we are talking about on the red carpet. There's a lot of media, usually within, you know what I mean, Entertainment Tonight and the Access Hollywood and all them people on the red carpet and TMZ with the microphones. There are black reporters who are trying to get that story right to build up their platform. But what celebrities usually do is walk right past the black platforms. Now, I always thought it was because they wanted to go straight to the people that can get them a lot of exposure. But Lily, that's another element. Are some celebrities now, maybe they don't want to be a part of that very, you know what I mean, chaotic,
Lowbrow.
lowbrow type of thing. So, the people, the black journalists that are on there and they on that red carpet and they are doing legit work, are they now going to get overlooked because of all the black blogs and how messy they are? That's a great question.
Yeah, because as you were talking, I'm thinking of examples in my head over the last 5 years. It's
Mm-hmm.
gotten worse over the last 5 years because it's like people are really dying for a viral moment now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so even down to when Laverne Cox said the whole thing with Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, the whole entanglement thing. They was like, I think she said, "Is there any more entanglements in your future?" or something like that on the red carpet. This was last year. This was right before the. This was right before the punch, because that's where everybody was like, "Oh, I noticed you didn't punch Laverne Cox because you know you would have been canceled." Yeah, yeah. This was
Oh,
like
I
maybe
didn't know.
about
I didn't know that. I didn't know
2 weeks to a
that.
month before the Chris Rock punch.
What's up, Jabari Bryant? Haran DeMarco, how are you?
Did you
Did
just
you?
call me the other black guy? Oh my god. Oh
What
my
other
god.
black guy?
Jabari Bryant. Oh, he's in the chat. Oh, I thought you were calling me Jabari by accident.
No, he's in the chat. He always stops by. He always
Uh,
drives by. I don't. Jabari hasn't pulled up in a while. He always drives by. How?
you guys on the TV. I saw Twan
Hey.
came up here. I saw Twan came up here for a minute. He was ready to. He was ready to. He had his neck back. He was ready to. He was ready
Oh
to get
yes.
into it. He was ready to
Yes,
get
he,
into
he
it.
was he was ready.
Oh
He was
man.
ready to let us have. Here's the thing that, and really quickly because I don't want to stay on here because this is a great topic and that's why people are here tonight. But I will say this: he's an example of a lot of people who are toxic, men and women. Okay. And we've seen some of these people in our own families. We've seen them in our neighborhoods. They think that they can be vitriolic. Okay. They could be venomous. They can be disrespectful. I mean, that motherfucker was so disrespectful in my comments. Okay. I wish I would have screenshot them so I can show you guys. So fucking vitriolic and disrespectful. So I
Hold
just
on, he
brought him
came
up.
back.
Yes.
Yeah,
After
he
that
was in the
Oh,
situation
comments.
we
Yeah.
had, he was in
oh,
the
you didn't tell
comments.
me.
He came back. And here's the thing I brought him up because I like giving people a taste of their own medicine. That's why I berated him. That's why I berated him. Okay. Because people, it's like
Oh,
lessons not learned in blood are soon forgotten. Okay. That is why I brought him up to berate his stupid ass because, but this happens in life. And we've had relatives like that. We've had friends like that are vitriolic and venomous. And they think that little time will pass by and then you guys are cool again. And I'm an
yeah.
elephant, bitch. I never forget.
I
I
used
don't
to be
forget.
so bad at that, Jen.
Ooh.
I literally forgive and forget, which is not a good thing. Not no more. This has been a long time since that I learned the lesson to that. No, actually, let me keep it real. I still do, but I've developed a skill that keeps me from going backwards. So what I tell somebody, like after they do an infraction that they can't come back from, I say, listen, you know you're gonna forget, bitch. Okay.
Mm-hmm,
Only
mm-hmm,
thing you need to remember is don't fuck with them ever again. Like that's the only thing you need to remember. Because I will
mm-hmm,
forget. I'm like, I don't know why I don't like this person. I
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
can't remember. But then the mistake I used to make is that I only used to be able to remember the fun stuff.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
then about 2 weeks later, I'm reminded of why I got rid of you the first time. So now I just remind myself, don't bother with them again.
Yeah, and you notice that like people are bringing all their dysfunction, out in the public, and that's why I always say to people, I'm not playing. Like your mother may tolerate you, your baby mother may tolerate you, your boyfriend may tolerate your mother. The public doesn't have to tolerate you, and because they
Absolutely
live in
not.
this bubble where they're being tolerated everywhere they go. No, it's not like that on the block. But yeah, I did block him. He knows I blocked him. He was playing dumb up here, but he knows I blocked him. You know when you're blocked, when you try to leave a comment. And I'm
Right.
like, he thought he was going to say all of that about this show and about us. And I was just going to let him back up because they live in this dysfunction, this repeated cycle of I can be as horrible as I want to be. And I'll just wait 2 or 3 weeks. And then my friends will talk to me again. No, bitch, go run in
I
traffic
give
blindfolded drunk.
I'll give him one thing though. At least he shows his face. The rest of these
But
other
he can't get
motherfuckers.
up otherwise. You can't
Right,
get up
right,
otherwise.
At least
right,
he
Yeah.
right,
wasn't
right.
showing
The
his
rest of these
penis.
dudes just talk shit from the
Right.
shadow.
Yeah, he wasn't getting up. Thank you so much, Miss Ruth. Miss Ruth says at the super chat, love you on the Star Report supporting the blog. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love the Star Report. I'm always calling, starting some trouble over here. This comment I want to pull out real quick. Somebody said something interesting. Oh, okay. Watch them niggas said she mad because the lame isn't lame anymore. That could be another thing too. Maybe it was funny when he was corny. You know what I mean? Wait, I'm confusing the two. Okay, maybe maybe her calling him corny was a way to get back at him because he's successful.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that. That was like, because other than that, why would you bring it up?
Honestly, if
Right.
I was Michael B. Jordan and she said that shit, I'd have been like, nah, I don't remember. Even if I did remember.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
Nah, I
remember
don't
you
remember
but
are.
you.
but he
I don't
brought
know.
it
I don't
up
know you all,
though.
sweetheart.
Like here's the thing. There's another thing you got to be careful about when you are an A-lister or just have more clout than somebody else, right? Because we out here,
Right,
we all chasing this clout drug. But
right, right.
that's another thing. Like he just put this woman on the map because Michael B. Jordan is an A-lister. I've never heard of this
Exactly.
woman prior to this incident.
Very true.
Now
Never
she
heard of
That's
gonna
her.
why I
get some
was.
more spins. She gonna get some more spins next week. Them numbers about to shoot up.
Absolutely. I
You
mean,
know what I
she'll never be
mean?
a Michael B. Jordan, but
Hmm.
he gave her a place. So you got to be careful. And you can tell that I'm sure today he's like, oh, why the fuck did I bring that up? Right. He's
Right,
probably like,
right,
why the fuck did I even bring that up? Like, who fucking
right.
cares? But he brought it up and then she got to address it.
Well,
Which,
he's
like you
probably
said,
still high off the movie. He in the premiere. He just knocked out Jonathan Majors. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm,
saying? I mean, I'm sure
mm-hmm,
in the movie he's probably feeling himself, and he's seen
mm-hmm,
some broad from like 20 years ago. Like, yeah, I
mm-hmm,
remember you. I'm that
mm-hmm,
nigga now. You know what I mean? And that Newark side came out. He just needed to, in that moment, say, you know what? It's not even worth it. It's not even worth, because
bringing it
in the
up. Like,
end,
who are these women? Who cares?
to your point, Jen, the only person that really benefits from it is her.
yeah,
You just giving
yeah,
her free promo. It's
right.
about you and your movie, man. It's about you and your movie, man. Concentrate on that, man. It ain't about her.
Mm-hmm. Code Red said, imagine bullying someone over his name. MJ gave Michael B. Jordan a lifetime of Jordan shoes for his name for Space Jam. Okay.
Okay.
So corny. Is it an insult? Hello, No Saint. How are you, darling?
I don't use it as an insult. Well, no,
No,
I use it.
listen, no Saint. You got some shrapnel in your leg right now because you walked in a firefight, boy. You was like, oh shit, what the fuck? They're
Okay.
shooting on the block. They're shooting on the block.
There was a drive-by. You walked in on a drive-by.
Sure did. I'm like, you fucking disrespectful and nasty and think you're just gonna come up here and hang out with us. Pay now. Now you gotta pay. Now you gotta pay. And be glad I ain't asking for an apology. I'll take your paper though.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
know.
it's sometimes you feel safe on the block, and other times you're reaching over and
That's a real
blocking the
New York
door as you
experience,
drive
though.
by. Click.
That's a real New York experience. The block
He
can
said
either
lock
be a
the car
safe
door.
haven. The block can either be a safe haven or it could be a dead end. That's a real New York experience.
Mm, this is interesting. The word corny is an insult in the black community.
I was mulling
Yeah,
that over.
yeah. But
I
you
mean,
see, here's the thing.
it's not a major insult in the white community, but I don't think you like being called corny. That's
Okay.
so
That
corny.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I might
Okay.
use it. I may use it on somebody, but I'm not meaning it. But now that I'm thinking about it, the person receiving it may not take it in the spirit in the way I was giving it.
A growthly.
Yo, listen, man. Everybody that's so-called corny right now in a different tax bracket. I want to be corny.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Russell Wilson, all these dudes, like, being
So
swaggy and
she
broke.
mentioned Russell Wilson. Did you hear her stories and all of that and what she said about Russell and all that and what have you? I just think that it is a big insult in the black community, in our communities in the hood, right? Because it is often related to not being able to I would say even it's usually thrown at men,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and it's usually kind of like a jab at you're not a manly man,
Ooh.
right? Which is why someone had commented, "Oh, you think somebody's corny who's not from the streets, right?" It's almost like you ain't got no street cred. You a
Yeah.
corny dude,
You ain't got the juice.
basically.
You ain't never popped
Basically, so
nothing.
it's like
You ain't never popped nothing.
calling somebody soft.
Ooh.
And when you come from our neighborhoods, the last thing you want to be compared to is soft or corny, right? Everybody wants to be a killer where we're from. Urgh.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Until you make it to a gated community.
Right.
see, now I be trying not to shade, but you pull me in. Okay. Every time I think I'm out, you pull me back in.
Oh nah, it wasn't that.
Oh, we're not going there?
It wasn't that.
Then I'll stand down.
It wasn't
I
that.
went there in my head though.
I'm at ease in this bitch then. I was
Y'all
ready.
ain't shit, man. It wasn't that, man.
You
Y'all
know we ain't
ain't
shit, so
man.
you gotta be careful what you say.
Then I will stand down. I will at ease. Here you go. I'm relaxing now. I
But
thought we were
anyway,
going in.
nah, man, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
fine.
not.
So super chat break on that
Well,
note.
okay.
Thank you, Don Levon, for the super chat. Don Levon says, Michael B. Jordan did the right thing. I would have brought it up too. I'm going to my class reunion in a couple of months, and I got some things to get off my
Damn.
chest.
Damn, Don, like, come on, man. It was like 20 years ago, man. What you
He don't
talking
give a fuck.
Don ain't letting it go.
damn.
Don said, I ain't letting it go. Don said, I ain't
God
letting it
damn.
go. He said, I'm going to walk in there fresh to death, okay? Head
There's
to
a lot of people walking
toe.
around. There's a lot of people walking around here with high school trauma, man. Like,
Who you telling? I'm glad I left. Don Levon gonna go in there with hair on his head, okay? A pocket full of money, like, yeah, bitch. What happened? Okay. With his custom fitted suit. Yeah, Don. I
All
ain't
of
mess
that.
with Don.
I
I ain't mess with Don.
I definitely liked my classmates. So when I go to I've been to a couple of reunions, but it's almost like I remember when I was in high school. I mean, corny was like if you made some bad jokes, they'd say, "Oh, yeah, you're corny" or something like that, But nerd was really the one that you didn't want to be called. But that's kind of changed.
but that's the equivalent. That's the equivalent though in the white community. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like calling somebody a nerd in the black community, it can mean a lot of things. I mean, you could still be a killer and be a nerd.
And I
But
didn't hear
you know what I mean?
that word a lot growing up. I didn't hear
Right,
nerd. I
right.
heard corny all the
Yeah.
time. I didn't hear
But
nerd so much.
But if you corny, if somebody said you a corn, it's a different
You
thing.
a cornball. You a corn. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that. I started learning of the word nerd when I started watching like the white teenage movies.
Yeah.
like Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes,
Yeah.
like, yeah. In our neighborhoods, it was you a cornball.
But what I was
He
gonna say,
corny,
like,
now it's like I think the nerd thing has flipped a little bit
Of
to where,
course.
yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, hell yeah. Now, you know what I know now? Yeah, you should be a nerd, because the nerds
Yep.
are the ones making all the money.
Yes,
Like
sir.
nerds became sexy around 2000.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
This is interesting to me, though. I want my vision back. Says Russell Wilson being called lame or square is weird to me. Dude was the star quarterback in high school, college, and the NFL. He could have had anybody's girl. This is real, man. This is such a great freaking comment for so many reasons.
It
Because
is.
what exactly does it entail when you are not corny, when this man had options on options and options and women throwing themselves at him? What was corny? What did he have to have for the black community to not consider him corny? Because remember,
I
it's
think him being
mostly,
that.
no, I'm just saying that it's black people who coined him corny, not white people.
Very
I think we
true.
can all agree there. I think we can all agree there.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
tell you what,
think. Wait 1 second though. I think honestly, it's two things. He had no problem playing stepfather. So a lot of brothers in the community had an issue with that, especially the manosphere. And number two, he dressed like a fucking drug dealer, like Future. So in their minds, you know what I mean, he's corny. You know what I mean, he's corny. And maybe he spoke with a particular diction, that they didn't find swaggy enough. So
mm,
And
therefore,
he
he's
loves
corny.
God. He loves
Yeah,
God.
and he loves God or whatever. Look, man, I don't really understand the obsession with that guy like that. Like I see more men obsessed with Russell Wilson than women are. You know what I mean? Like seriously, man.
so
It's kind of weird and gay.
It
so
is.
so exactly. I was going to where Haran was going. What I see is it's definitely like he doesn't have the swag. So I'll bring up two Hall of Fame athletes that both didn't in the black community have the swag. Karl Malone, he was a big country boy, but he's Hall of Famer. He's only second in points to LeBron James and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Tim Duncan. He just they didn't they didn't get the pushback I think that Russell Wilson, but they just weren't the in crowd of the NBA.
And the other thing is with athletes, especially someone like Russell, to get to that level, and exactly this was the point that she made was the point is going to help me make the point that I was going to make is if he was doing this in middle school, high school, college, and today, what that says to me is that all he had time for was to be disciplined, be focused, and have his head in the game. Most athletes are green for that reason, I mean, it's just that simple. They didn't have time to be out in the streets and this and that and this and that. Now, what I've been seeing recently, though, in more recent years with athletes, is like they want to try to do that rapper cosplay, right? Once they get their money, and it's like, sir, like you've been, in your game and discipline and all that for all these years. You don't have to do that. You got the money. You don't have to do all of that. You can get any woman you want. You got the notoriety and the money and maybe the looks too. But when you do meet them, you realize that they really don't have the swag that you think that they have.
So I say this, and a lot of people may disagree with me. I think Beyonce's corny.
Oh God, yeah. I can't take her interviews.
I think Beyonce's super corny.
She stopped her interviews as a matter of fact. She stopped
because
having interviews, if you notice.
But I think, like, my version of corny, right? But I think she's corny because she's been very, very sheltered outside of being a performer. Like, put the little quarter in her back and she goes off and hops around on stage. She's not a very worldly person outside of going, and I know people are going to be like, she's been all over the world. She's been all over the world, from her dressing room to the trailer to the hotel, and backwards on the tour bus and backwards and forward. When I mean worldly, I'm like hanging out with people from different walks of life, learning to meet, talk to people, learning about different cultures. And you can tell when she talks on an interview and when she dresses herself and it's not the glam squad, and the way she does her hair when she doesn't have the glam squad. I'm like, you're corny. You're like the little pageant princess that went from the pageants into rehearsals. She's just sheltered. So to me, she's corny. Now, can the glam squad come? And usually the glam squad are people that have been through some shit. You notice? The makeup team,
That's so
the
true.
fashion squad, like they're the ones that got their ear to the streets. So they know what's popping and they're watching, the algorithms and who's wearing what. Like, what would Beyonce know what to wear on her own? Right?
Right.
Without having that squad or that team. Like, you see how Lily and I be popping up here and we always, you know what I'm saying, whether we're doing urban or sexy, or we're on point.
Right.
We're
Right.
on point. And gentlemen, we don't have a fucking glam squad. I have a closet
I'm about to
and
say
a
we on
debit
the
card.
glam squad.
Okay, I got a closet and a debit card. That's it,
Right.
baby.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't see Beyonce without her team being able to do that. To me, she's a corny girl, and you're not going to get a conversation out of her outside of music, outside
Right.
of what she wants to see done. Now Solange is not corny to me.
No, she's not. Oh God, Solange is everything.
Solange is not corny to me. She's more, in my opinion, more edgy and down to earth than say Beyonce. And we all saw that in the elevator, did we not?
Right.
I
We
think
I
all
was just
saw that
thinking
in the
about
elevator.
something too.
Ciara's
Like
corny to me.
Ciara.
Same.
Yeah, but yeah, she's another
Ciara,
one.
she's kind of corny. Yeah, she's kind of corny.
Her Brandy,
Yeah.
But do you look at Monica, who been hood, been street from the jump?
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's not gender specific. Like, corny is not gender specific. I think that chick Tristan has her up on the thing. I think she's corny. I think the lady that called Michael B. Jordan is corny. I'm like, girl, get your life. What is this? First of all, what is this? And you guys can't see the whole picture because I cropped it, but she got like these, you got to see the bottom to this, and like the faux drawstring on the bottom. The wig looks dry. I can see the lace front net in the front. The glasses don't match. Like, it's like, you're corny.
She looks like she was going to a 3D film, like a 3D movie.
Right. Like, I'm like, no, you don't
It's
get to
bad when the
say.
men see the lace front. When the men see the lace front,
Yeah.
it's a bad wig, man.
Glue it down, sis. Glue it down. Glue it down before
Hey,
you go
listen,
outside.
I'm a nerd, man. You know what I
I'm a
mean?
nerd.
You know, it is what it is. I'm a fucking nerd. I just, growing up where I grew up, I just didn't look like one, which was helpful.
Right.
Which was helpful. You know what I mean? I can also take care of myself, but I'm a nerd. I'm not a fucking killer or something to that effect. And that's another thing too. There's so many identity issues going on in the Black community because people just don't own who they are.
Speak
People just
on
don't
that.
own who they are. And then when they find themselves knee deep in some sort of facade that they never were, then it's everyone else's fault. It ain't nobody else's fault, man. There's a grown person that decided to cosplay your life. Literally cosplay the person that you are. Man, look, man, you have to wake up in the morning. Every day I wake up in the morning, I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. I'm here. You know what I mean? And I walk in with a solid degree of confidence wherever I am. You know what I mean? Ready to do what I need to do and tell and remind everybody which one of you motherfuckers is coming in second. And that is the kind of life that I live, man.
No, say, aren't you happy you don't have none of these issues? You just was born white. You lived white. You're like, I don't.
No, I would think. No, I would think one thing for white men that hits a lot harder. And forgive me, you know what I mean? Correct me if I'm wrong, no sense.
Go for it.
But white male failure hits a lot harder than black male failure.
Testing.
Like I can be a failure as a black man, and the world would be like, well, you need to get yourself together. It's just a system. When you're a white man and you're a failure,
Right.
everybody's
No,
kind of looking at you like, where did you go wrong, buddy? Like, you
no, it's
got a,
true.
you
But
got a
don't they
500 year
cancel?
head start.
Don't
No,
they
it's
The
cancel each
500 year
other
head
out?
start.
I'm telling you,
What?
I was with a girlfriend one time and we was walking down the street down somewhere in Midtown or whatever. And a black guy asked for some money and she was like, oh, sure, here you go. And then this white guy came and asked for money. She was like, you're white, what are you doing?
I mean, literally. I mean, you could literally go into a store, steal a suit, and go to a job interview and get the job. Like, what are you? Like, why do you want my money?
Right. You should have
You
seen
could
it like
literally steal a suit.
I actually, it's funny you say that, but I actually saw during Mardi Gras like a black lady give a homeless guy some money, and I thought, I kind of thought the same thing. I'm like,
wait, what are you doing, sir? Like, why are you out here asking for money? You're
Like,
white.
where did you go wrong in life?
Right, you're a white male in America.
Like I said before, and I stand by it. I don't give white people money on the street, man. I only give black people money. I only give money to homeless black people.
Well, you know
Oh,
what?
you're nicer than me.
Well, living up here, it's got me like, I'm gonna need you to dance, twirl, twist,
God damn.
jump, flip, ride a pole. You better not just come up to me asking for some money. Like, I need a show.
Well. Wait 1 second, Liz. I'll throw a disclaimer in there. Usually, the black people that I give money to, usually they're either extremely old or this motherfucker losing ain't got a leg. So I'm not gonna ask a one-legged motherfucker to twerk.
Well, no. The one-legged ones, they can get, said really old or one-legged. Yeah, but if you're like able-bodied, why aren't you flipping?
Nah,
or
I don't
something?
even really give them money. Like guys my age, I look at them like, bro, this you gonna have to figure that out, man. You gonna have to figure that out, man.
Hit that like and subscribe for me. I see more people in the room. Please hit that like and subscribe for me. You know you like it here.
I will say this on Jen's show on the Block with Jen. As long as there's a fat woman who has a home, no black man should be homeless, man.
Yo, we all just got canceled by
that's it. That's
as long as there are,
we all just got canceled because I'm gonna tell you what my father told me. My father told me the first year in college, he said, listen, find you one. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, find you an ugly big girl. I'm like, why? He's like this. He says they're gonna have either all of it or something. They're either gonna have a car, always something to eat, or they have both. He says you won't be struggling in college.
I was gonna
see Jen, they ain't got no problem finding them when they're in jail though. That's the wrong time for you to find them.
Right.
I was gonna take it a step
That's the wrong
further
time for you to find them.
Right.
I'm gonna take it a step further and say, as long as there's fat white women, there should be homeless black.
Exactly. No,
that's probably more true. That's probably more true because that's probably more true because even we see in our community, even when like a black or a Latina is really fat, she still thinks she's the shit.
Yeah.
She still thinks she's the shit. Like, I ain't got to put but them white girls, oh, they like that chocolate. They will take that chocolate. So I'm going to hit that like and subscribe for me, y'all. I'm going to play this video one more time for all the people that are new in the room. Check this out.
And we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
The corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say I said we used to make fun of the name. But yeah, he is obviously killing things out here. How is the difference between you actually directing and working with the same people that you were directed with versus?
It was awesome. It's a family vibe. The last 9 years of my life, I spent on the Creed films.
Did she say verses at the end of that sentence instead of in between? How is it working with any directors with the verses?
What? I couldn't. I missed the first. I missed the first
Child.
part because it mutes out, but she's saying they used to make fun of him when they were kids or something because of his name.
No, she was on a podcast with another woman who called him corny.
Oh, okay.
And then Michael B. Jordan basically said, yeah, remember you said I was corny, but she was like, no, you misquoted, because it wasn't her that said it. It was the other girl on the podcast. But then when he was walking away, that girl on the red carpet, she was like, well, you're not corny anymore. Don't worry about it. But that girl used to go to school with him. The one on the red carpet used to go to school with him, and said they made fun of him because he always used to be in school with his headshot saying he was going to act. And his name was Michael Jordan, shit like that. So he did it.
Well, if you look at his face, though, he looked like he was calling all kinds of B words while she was talking, and he was saying that. He's like, yeah, remember when you was calling me, corny, whatever? And I was like, oh man, it's a little aggressive.
No, I saw that face. I saw that face. I'm like, this. He definitely grew up in Newark. That's what I'm like. That's 100%.
I mean, well, look at his face.
Yeah, look at him. He's like, look at.
Yeah, that's definitely the Newark MBJ. That ain't Hollywood MBJ.
That's that. So what's up? Like you was talking. So what's up?
And she's still to me, now that I know the history behind them, she still to me is coming off as that high school A-list person looking down on him for some reason. Just the way she was talking to him, she still has that, at least that aroma of like they're back in high school. I don't know if you see it, but
I said no. I did. She did handle him that way. Like she did treat him like he wasn't Michael B. fucking Jordan.
Yeah, I'm the prom queen, and you're still the dweeb in drama.
I mean, even when he walked away, she was like, well, you ain't corny no more. Don't worry about it. Like, very dismissive. Very dismissive. I'm like, this is Michael B. Jordan.
Right.
That's so funny.
No. She was heated. She was embarrassed.
I caught that too, Steve. Steve's like, he scratched the back of his head because that scratch on the back of his head got me too. Like the little body language. He was like, I'm the corny guy.
That's that hood shit. Everybody in the hood know what that means. Like, so you was talking last week, right?
What was this you was saying?
That was you, right? That was you, right?
I'm just saying, he did the scratch of the back of the head like this. If she was a man, she would caught that hook. That hook was coming.
Watch your mics, guys. Watch your mics, guys. Watch your mics, guys. Y'all are blowing out my headphones. Please watch your mics. One mic at a time. Let me I'll play it one more time. Try to listen to the beginning because No Saint was talking. So hold on.
And we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
The corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say corny. I said we used to make fun of the name. But yeah, he is obviously killing things out here. How is the difference between you actually directing and working with the same people that you were directed with versus?
It was awesome. It's a family vibe. The last 9 years of my life, I spent on the Creed films.
She was like, yeah, whatever about the corny comment. He's like, whatever about the fucking corny comment. Anyway, how was it working with blah, blah, blah?
She did handle them, though.
She did. That's what made it worse.
Mean Girls.
And you can see the residual trauma on him and his body language as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to let things like that go, man. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go, man. Because if you don't let it go, I mean, I understand sometimes, in life, you do use that to fuel you to succeed. Maybe these people might have doubted you, so on and so forth. But there comes a time where that can't be the only thing that fuels you. Maybe you just want to continue to be successful. Maybe you just want, because you can't allow what someone said about you or thought about you to define who you are. You know what I mean?
Well,
come on, man. It is what it is.
Brienne is here.
I would say that there's you're right. Some people do. Some people use it and it fuels them. Most people, I think, are more damaged than they are and may have to go to therapy, because I still think about that today. Like, there's things that I went through and I'm old. I'm an old guy now, and I'm still seeing it out of those eyes that like I was young. You know what I mean? And it's not always easy to get over some of that kind of stuff. But you're right. You need to if you can.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not a I've been watching this show called Special Forces. I think it's on Fox. Anyway, it's celebrities getting together and working with these special forces guys, and it's amazing. More so what the special forces guys are teaching them about being mentally fit and strong, and the way, they say they don't literally say get over it, because people are so triggered by that. I can't, I want to live in this. Why are you telling me to get over it? I want to live in this trauma, right? But the way they word it is like, that's the past. You're here today. You have to concentrate on the task that's going on here today. Because they come up to him with the tears, my mother, when I was 5. Okay, that it's in the past though.
Yeah.
You're here today. So it's very important to stay present, right? If you're stressed, they say you're either worried about something that happened that you can't change, or something that's coming in the future that you don't even know about yet. So it's best to be fucking present. But they come with the tears on that show, and then the special forces guys listens to them. And after they're finished, he was like, okay, but that's in the past. You're here now. And then the way they say it so bluntly, it's like, you kind of feel stupid, because it's like, well, that's true. My mother said that when I was 7, but I am 37 now.
Right. Literally, the people, my mentors that kind of helped re-raise me, that's literally how they were tough. Like, you could not have no tissue paper fillers messing with those people.
Hi.
And, hey, babe. And like, they used to do that. They'd be like, where are you at now? When did that happen? That's not happening today, is it? Is that happening in this moment? And my grandma, she tells me the best story about when she was going to therapy. She said she didn't get her breakthrough until she was 52. And she said she was in therapy, and she said she'd been going for maybe about 6 months, and the therapist is just, and taking her insurance money, And then finally she said the therapist said to her, Nellie, when are you going to get over all of this? These people aren't even alive anymore. And my grandmother said, she was like, the hell with you. Right? She said she went home, like she fired her, and then she went home only to realize she had a point.
I go through that. I've been through that with my mother as well, where it's like, she was telling us stories of, you and I was 6, and, your grandmother dropped me off to my dad and his new wife. I was like, are you fucking shitting me? We're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. We don't know if we're going to get toilet tissue to wipe our asses with, because people are rolling around on the ground at Walmart buying all the toilet tissue. And you're telling me about something your father did, and your father passed away, respectfully. But it's like, we let these people rent rooms in our head. And here's insult to injury. Not only did it happen a long time ago, but them people that quote unquote traumatized us went on with their fucking lives without a hitch.
Right.
They kept doing they kept womanizing, they kept disrespecting people, they kept living their full toxic lives.
Right.
Their full happy toxic lives. And we hold on to, damn, but so I try to tell myself what I tell my daughter a lot. It's just a feeling. It's just a feeling. I promise you, it's just a feeling. When someone disrespects you, when you feel they've wronged you, when you're dwelling on, damn, why did that person do that to me? I would have never done that. It's just, it's literally a feeling. It's not even real. It's not, it can't do anything to you. It cannot do anything to you. It cannot do anything to you. It's a feeling. Now, if it's physical, if someone whooped on you and your back is still messed up because they stomped you out one day, and now you gotta, every time you can't sit, you thinking about, but words and disrespect and being disloyal, it's like, yeah, you let those people go. But dwelling on it, it really is just a feeling. So I still practice that to today. I start like sulking, like, oh, I would have been this, or I could have gotten further if had it not been for that. I'm like, Jen, it's just a feeling. That person moved on.
Right. I always picture them. When I feel like if I catch myself obsessing, I will picture them living their best life. to realize how stupid it is that I'm sitting here like
Yes.
obsessing over them, and then I would like picture them like cooking dinner, just doing it like a regular like driving, and I'm like, this is dumb. This is dumb. They're not thinking about me right now.
But I want to really quickly, I want to pass the mic to Brienne because she just got here, and we're not gonna pull a long one because it's Sunday. But I want to say that Michael B. Jordan, on top of the world, A-lister, sexiest man alive, Killmonger, Creed. I mean, on top of the world, and it goes to show that no matter how much you accumulate, right, and succeed, do not give people little rental spaces in your mind, because I would think, don't we all say, shit, if I had Michael B. Jordan money and Michael B. Jordan fame, I wish a motherfucker would come up to me from my past, and I'm going to give you any energy. And with that, living in a mansion, pulling a Ferrari up to the mansion, you know what I mean, bank account, I can go to Hawaii tomorrow. I wish a junior high school motherfucker would be like, remember we used to call you Froggy? I don't remember you,
I don't
sir.
remember you. I'm so sorry. I wish I could remember you so we could laugh together.
I don't remember you. But have a great day as I get in my Ferrari.
That's it.
Brienne LaFay, our lovely mommy. How's Bunny? Please tell us.
Oh my gosh. She's already a month. She's getting chunkier by the day. So healthy and happy.
Yay. But we're happy.
Where the time went. Oh my gosh.
They grow so fast. FYI, for all the new people here, Bunny is our first block baby. Okay, Brienne had our first block baby, so that's our little baby. Brienne, what you got on this? I'm curious to hear what you got to say. You saw the video and you've heard about the story and all of that.
Yeah, my husband told me, and then actually saw it for the first time on your channel. So when I was sitting there watching it, I was thinking, I think everybody who's had any level of success had that happen. So when I was watching that, I was thinking, even though I don't have Michael B. Jordan money, I feel like I'm successful to the point where every single time I hear a story, because I was in the band, in the orchestra, and the not popular but not dork. I would say I was more of a geek. Like I always
band geek. You're a band geek.
Definitely. And I was the one who had like all of the, like I said, the very busy friends, the hot friends, the ones with the big butts and the boobs that came early. I didn't get boobs until college, so I was not that one they were chasing after. So I was the one everyone was asking, okay, what's your friend up to? Is your friend single? Is your cousin single? It got annoying. So when I finally got out of high school, and got to college, then I was getting all these messages from people in high school saying, oh, hey, how you doing? I had a crush on you in high school. No, you didn't. You were asking me about my best friend. What is wrong with you? So even though I don't have that money, I think that I'm successful in my life, like happily married, new baby. So I remember shortly after, because I got bullied really bad in elementary. Like I was crying to leave my elementary school. And I didn't know why I got bullied so bad, but I realized my dad picked me up every single day from school. And at one point, and he came in a Jaguar, all white Jaguar, white inside, white outside, because he worked on cars. And I think he fixed up that car for a good price. So people just assumed we had money. So one day, one of the kids were bullying me and said, is your daddy coming to pick you up one day? And I'm like, yeah, he picks me up every day. Does yours pick you up? And then at that point, the bullying was relentless. But here I am, second grade. I didn't know what that meant. You're covering your face. I didn't know what that meant. I assumed everyone had a dad. So obviously, as I grew up, one of my best friends was actually a foster care kid who never met her parents until later on. You're still laughing. That's what I'm saying. I was in the second grade. I didn't know what that meant, but I got bullied relentlessly after that. And I finally explained it to my twin brother one day. He's like, oh, I get it. Yeah, our dad picked us up every day. And the second you said that, it was war, and you didn't know. I was like, yeah, I was a sheltered little kid in second grade. I didn't know what that meant. But yeah, every kid from that point had a vendetta against me. And again, I didn't know until years later. But I looked up their Facebook profile shortly after high school.
What's the given?
All their lives went downhill. So to keep it very simply,
it's giving downhill is what it's giving.
Yeah, 2 of them were in jail. One got broken up with, and she had 3 of this guy's kids. And then she was homeless for a while. Like it was all of these same people who were bullying me every single day. Their lives turned out the way they were because of their decisions. But I'm like, I cared so much to look up their Facebook profiles. I found exactly what I was looking for. These people's lives did not turn out the way they wanted them to. And obviously, the older I get, the more I realize their life was going to turn out however it was, regardless. But even if I didn't look that up, I'm so happy with my life. I should have just, left it alone. But that little, kid in me was like, dang, like I wish I would have known that then, going home crying every single day in my bedroom. But that's it. I'm really happy
I
with my
love
life. I'm
I
excited.
love Petty Brienne.
Oh, she didn't know she was being petty.
I
I mean,
love
with
Petty
the daddy
Brienne.
comment.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
wish
It
I
was
was
a
in
little
the.
petty side of me. I just had to know. Like, I remembered their names more than I did my friends in elementary. I just told my husband that. It's like, why do I remember the name, first and last and middle of all of my bullies, but I don't remember, like, my little best friend that we used to do art projects together. I don't remember her name for
Wow.
anything, but I could tell you her face. I could detail her face, but I couldn't remember her name for a while. Actually, I
But
still
that goes
can't.
it goes to show it does have an impact. Don Levant, I'm gonna have to disagree, Zarlin. He said, I don't think MBJ is worried about that high school mess. That was a long time ago. I don't think he's worried
Worried?
about it either, but it bothered him enough to bring it up.
Yeah, she looked like she was a bully too. When you played that, I was like, I know exactly a girl like that. And I looked up her life and it
Yeah,
did
you
not
see how
turn out
she
the way.
talks? She has a very dismissive, like, yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, so
Every
versus,
time she goes to a party, he's the first thing she mentions. I mean, he's the first thing
oh,
she mentions. Oh, yeah, I used to call him this. I remember him from back in the day. And then you get to his face. And the only reason she probably got that interview was because she was like, oh, I know him from back, when. So they thought it'd be nice. But yeah, she did herself a huge disservice. If I was the one
well, someone said,
interviewing
and
him, I would have said no. I would have said no. If I was the one bullying him,
someone said wait a minute. L'Oreal gonna feel this. They're dragging her on Instagram right now. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are because I'm like, if
obviously comes
you're
closer.
and the girls love them some Michael B. Jordan. I'm with Lily. He doesn't do it for me. I think he's a cute guy. I wouldn't even call him handsome yet. Like, ask me again when he's like 50 or 55.
He probably
Maybe
will age
maybe
better then.
he'll come into his looks and look distinguished, but he just looks like the regular cute button from the hood. Like I don't look at Michael B. Jordan like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
no.
he's
but the girls
handsome.
love him. I think
Yeah.
he's
He's not my
cute. I think
husband,
he's
but he's
cute.
very handsome.
I think he's very cute. I think that his body is phenomenal. He worked hard on his body. That is not easy to
Yep.
do. Same as Jonathan Majors. That is not easy to do to get your body to that point. It's a lot of work. So salute to them. But just because, you know what I mean, he's not my cup of tea doesn't mean that he's not attractive.
Right. Right. And
Okay. He's
there's
attractive.
some people who I'd be like, huh, I'm sorry, I don't get it, don't see it. Yeah, I don't, there's a disconnect somewhere. But with
Yeah.
him, I can understand it. I see it. I get it, even
I
though it's
just
not my thing,
don't
I get
I
it.
just don't I don't know why he hasn't cut it off. That porn stash was throwing me off. Like,
Yeah.
cut the porn stash. Like, if you're gonna have
Yeah.
a beard or a goatee, you know what I mean, have it manicured. I hate the porn stash. L-
Yeah, he's definitely giving me
Can
70s
y'all
porn star.
can y'all please explain this dude to me? Explain him to me. Like explain him to me. Somebody
I just
explain.
think
Can
the
somebody
conversation's
explain him?
interesting. It's just an interesting conversation, Jen.
Okay, then you have to pay to get back up. Those are the rules. Throw something in the super chat and then you can come and tell us how interesting the
He
conversation
said
is.
he
It's
sent a
very
cash
Did he
app.
simple.
You
say a
need to
bad
check your
word?
cash app.
Let me see.
That guy
Because
said a bad word? Is that why
Not
he had to
oh,
pay him?
he said more than a bad word. He said a lot of crap.
Oh, I missed it. I missed the party. I'm late.
That's not enough. Okay, as we were saying.
Oh
All
my
right, see. I try to be as diplomatic as possible. That's not enough. That's not enough.
Dude said he been in the
Um
car for about an hour.
He been driving around the block. He probably looking for parking.
That's how it is over here in my area. You ain't gonna get no damn parking.
New York. That's why none of us have cars in New York. It's like
No.
there ain't
That's
no damn
exactly why.
parking. There's no
That's exactly
parking in New
why.
York.
Exactly
And
why. You get
if you
punished for
see
having
my
a
block,
car in New York.
if you see my block, you will really see like it's one of them real narrow
Hey,
blocks. Oh yeah, you definitely don't want no car living on this block.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's a
no,
different
that's
deal.
not enough. Hit that super chat, and then I'll decide on. I mean, hit the Cash App again, and then I'll decide whether or not I let you back up here.
Oh, this is great. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So what do you think about? What do you think about? Do you think? And this question may be a little controversial, but do you think that Black women's version of corny, and I'm saying Black women because this is two Black women who together went after Michael B. Jordan, called him corny, made fun of him in high school, right? So let's just get this, call a spade a spade. Do you think that Black women are harder on Black men to live up to being, what's the word, hyper masculine? Do you think
Yeah.
that compared to other ethnicities and other races, do you think Black women are harder on Black men? Like, go out there, be a man, and the Black men are like, wait a minute,
Oh hell
I
yeah,
just want to read comic books.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out there. I don't
hell
want to go
yeah.
out there.
Right. Like I don't want to sell crack.
Do you think so? And if so, why? I'd like to pass it to the Black ladies on the panel. Why do you think that's the case?
It's twofold. It's either the very masculine example you had in front of you, where it be like your dad, your uncle, your mentor, your coach. Because a lot of girls growing up, I knew they were in like basketball and they always had like a strong Black masculine coach, or the idea of what they saw on TV. So it was always because I remember at least in the 80s and 90s there was like I wouldn't say the Cosby Show. I guess I would say more like Fresh Prince, like that
Mm-hmm.
father, and then other I guess examples more in the 80s and 70s. So whatever idea they had in their head or the type of man they wanted, that's how they wanted the Black man in front of them to be. And I really think it's a bad thing to compare to a fantasy versus something in front of you. I would say my dad was a very masculine man, and I wanted somebody similar to that, but he was more realistic. Like I got to see his day to day, not just when he was he was always masculine. He was a very stoic man. So I wanted somebody like that, but also wanted them to be more open to talk, because growing up, he didn't say much. It was directions, and that was it. So the older I got, I
Your
got to have
DMs.
more.
I'm sorry. Check your DMs, Haroon. Yeah, go ahead. Rihanna, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I guess I was just saying there's either an example they saw on TV, one in front
Mm-hmm.
of them, or a fantasy. So I guess those three. And we're harder on Black men because we, in general, at least 80% plus Black women want Black men. So they want them to be the absolute best they can get before they get with them, which is, partially hypergamy, but then again, a lot of it is unrealistic. Yeah.
So I want you to hold that thought because I want to go back to something you said, but I want to pass the mic to Lily. Lily, what do you think?
Wow, this is a layered question here. I'm up here thinking because I haven't been produced with that question until today. And looking at it, I think it has a lot to do with what we talked about in one of the streams. I think either earlier this week or last week, when we were saying that a lot of Black men have a lot of stuff on their shoulders, based off coming from the buck breaking and things like that. So they have a chip on their shoulder, understandably, to be more masculine.
Okay.
Because like when you look at the races of men, there's typically stereotypes that come along with them, right? Because they don't look at an Asian man to be a masculine man, right? You're supposed to know math. You're supposed to be in, and then they usually follow up with that, and they're supposed to go to school, and they're supposed to do these certain things. So when they don't do that, then they're looked at it a certain way. With the Black community, I like what this person said too. It's like, I feel like it was that before the masculinity and when we were coming up, but as well as being cool. I think today in this era, it's more about being cool than being masculine and or responsible, because I feel like part of being a masculine man is to be responsible, is to be a leader, and some other things as well. But then a lot of times people get masculinity and toxic masculinity mixed up. Still to this day, a lot of people don't know the difference between the two. And there's toxic femininity too, because every time you say the word toxic masculinity, people think that you just don't believe in toxic femininity, and I believe that there's
No,
unhealthy
I've been toxically feminine in my
yeah,
day, so
there's
it goes both ways. It
yeah, it
goes
goes
both
both
ways.
ways. So
I do. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lily.
yeah, so that's basically where I'm at with that. I'm interested in hearing what Haran has to say, but
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, super chat break. Thank you for the super chat. Spanky Big Head says, "Do I think Black women hold men to be more masculine than other cultures? No. However, we Blacks hold in high regard being cool. Being cool takes precedence in the Black community. I want to ask the Black men on the panel because there are two. Although Tristan hides behind his comedy. Have you ever felt the pressure specifically around Black women to be hyper masculine, to be the hero? We hear them, I'll get my man, I'll get my boyfriend. You know what I mean? Have you ever felt pressure to, it's like, yo, girl, I just want to be a man?
No,
Not
because I beat up their
that.
fathers.
Say again?
That it hasn't happened to me because, listen, I'm known to kick down doors.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if you come for me, I'm coming for your father. That's pretty much it. It was never. I took on a challenge. So I won most, lost some.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one old man had me, almost killed me one time. But to me, it's just, I don't. There is no pressure. It's just that. How can I say it? There is no pressure. It's us as Black men care too much and we don't care about ourselves enough. Like we care what other people think, and then we have these young kids who don't know themselves or never explored it. Like I believe me and Haran will probably be next to Bill Gates by now if we just if we just did what we love to do from the beginning. And that's just what it is. There is no pressure. It's just that we're not aware. I say not self-aware.
Interesting. Don Levon, this is hilarious. Don Levon said media got us out here looking like we were supposed to be Dolomite.
Well, I'm gonna be flat out.
Okay, yay or nay? Yay or nay?
Coming from West Indian culture, it's a hyper masculine culture. So yeah, there was not this pressure. There was just conditioning to be, what I mean, overly masculine. And Jamaican men are supposed to carry themselves in a certain way. So essentially, yes.
Okay, so that was just cultural. It came from the men before you. You're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, it was just passed down to me.
Okay. Spanky Big Head says, and now we know why Black men are having issues. What type of logic was that?
With whose response?
It's probably either probably me because Haran just finished and there's always a delay.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
I
mean, how can I say this? Black boys, it ain't Black men because we grew up in the island culture. By 10, you know the difference between right and wrong, and you have to defend for yourself. So, after a young age, you know the difference between right and wrong. So you can't say Black men. You can say Black boys. Yeah, that have issues because you always want to impress the girl. You always like, okay, I see this guy's in my way. I need to get this guy out the way. That's how we operate. So you gotta show, hey, listen, I like this girl. She likes you. I gotta just black your eye up a little bit, and that's the wrong way to go about things. So, like, I get what he's saying, but the logic is we young Black men response is with violence first. Is never with, hey, I really like you. Can we go out? It's not. Like it's always violence with us. I don't know why, but that's what it is.
Brienne, you said that like what you watched on TV, like the fathers on TV. You think there are any fathers on TV where women are like, I need you to be like that guy specifically? Like, what character would you say?
Ooh.
Do you think that has an influence? Like, did everybody want to be what is it, James
James
Evans?
Evans. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's funny. That's the person I would think of first. Personality wise, and obviously money wise, I would say, Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince. Because when most girls were like describing, they wanted a guy that made a lot of money. He was a lawyer, had a big house, wife, a bunch of kids. Looks wise, it was always like Tupac. So pretty much I've always grown up knowing that women pretty much wanted Tupac in a suit. Like you want him to have that masculine, but then you also want him to be able to dress up and look nice in certain occasions. And the joke between me and my husband is I was like, I got very, very lucky. Like I got you from the hood, but you're not of the hood mentally. Because he knows about all the things, because he grew up, like I said, statistically disadvantaged in every way, but he read a lot of books, watched anime, so he had both. So essentially he is the Tupac in the suit, which still worked. So I was like, it's a very rare occasion when you can find a person like that, but typically you're going to find one that's on one far end or the other far end. And when women want a man, they want Tupac in a suit. They want him to be able to dress up when needed, but also have that kind of edge so that when you guys are walking around in the world, you feel safe and protected. And again, I got lucky there, but I don't want most women to strive for that because I think my husband's very rare, and that's why I chose him. But anybody with two working hands and, a good heart, you can make it work. But most women don't want that, at least not the woman I'm around. Like I said, most of the women I know, they're older than me, and they're still looking for Tupac in a suit, and they're going to continue to look because he's either rare or just not looking for them.
Girl.
Bang, bang.
Yo, Brienne put the baby to sleep, and she says everybody's getting what this baby's been giving me. Okay. All these restless nights she is shooting for
good luck with that.
So can we let's just go ahead, Haran.
I think that in modern times, the alternative black person or black community, the alternative black community, black people who are into anime or so-called nerdy or whatever. I think they're a lot more. I think the community is more willing to accept them as opposed to when we were younger.
Right.
Like back then, you was just a fucking weirdo. You was just considered a weirdo if you were into that shit. Now, it's a lot more evident. Prevalent rather. So there's, they're a lot more lenient with it. I think that personally, in the environment that I was raised in the cultures that I was raised in, yes, it did influence me a great deal to go down particular paths that I shouldn't have went down. There's a number of people I shouldn't have been around and shouldn't have grown up around, and I shouldn't befriended. Look, if I grew up in a different environment, different tax bracket from a very young age, I probably would have ended up in MIT. There's a very good chance of that. But it didn't work out that way. I grew up in New York in the 80s and the 90s. There were also many opportunities, so many things, that I can get involved in, and flat out, I just have to survive. Man.
I do observe how white people. Hey, no saying. I do observe how white people they have such a freedom, right? They wake up in the morning, they go to work, they don't think about. It's kind of similar to like when I tell guys, you'll never understand what it's like to be a woman, because when a woman wakes up, we're constantly thinking, I have to be back at a certain time. I got to wear this and not that. I got to avoid men talking to me. I got to avoid dark alleys. Men can't relate to that. Men have never looked in a closet and been like, can't wear that skirt, can't wear that shirt, can't wear that if I'm going over here, can't wear that if I'm going over there. I need to hold my keys in a certain hand. I got to have my gun with me. It has to be well lit. I can't park over there. Men aren't thinking that. They just go. They get up, wash their ass, throw their pants on, go and come back, right? So I think even when you're talking about white people, that even trumps how men don't think about shit, where white people are just like, I'm not thinking about getting pulled over. I'm not thinking about getting shot. I just live. I can watch anime. I can ballet dance, I can line dance, and no, I don't have a threat. There's no threat of people calling me corny or not having street cred. And it's just fucking sad how like we grew up in these communities and there's a lot of people that we lost or are jailed forever because they had to keep that street cred and not be corny, because the worst thing you could be considered where we're from is corny. It's a scarlet letter. You better not be caught putting, you know what I mean, looking at comic books or watching anime. And I'm glad that that's changing now, because I do notice on social media, a lot of the kids are like, I love anime. This is what I do. I like the comic books. I'm going to Comic Con. I'm dressing up and there's cosplay. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm so glad that, you know what I mean, it's changing, right? I'm so glad it's changing, because so many of us were hurt or no longer with us because we had to keep that, what, you ain't gonna play me, you ain't gonna do, you know, and deep down inside, you're just a kid in your room with posters on your wall, you know what I mean, with dreams, you know what I mean? I was in love with darkness, right? Not the hottest rapper out, like, you know. So I'm glad that it's changing. I'm glad that we're able to raise our kids like that now, because it's fucking sad. And I'm like, yo, just be white the way they think.
Right.
They
Be
just get up and
transparent.
go. Just
Just
Be
be a
trans.
human being. I don't know about just white.
it's all white.
I,
Instead
I,
of it's all right, it's all
yeah.
white. It's all
To
white.
be
Everything's gonna
to
be
be
all white.
transparent. To be transparent. One of the reasons why I'm very adamant about my child having a particular lifestyle and being treated a certain way is because I never had a childhood. I really don't know what it is to be a kid. You know, what I mean, I never really experienced innocence and things like that. So, I know what it looks like, but I've never experienced that. That could be probably the reason why in my older age, I'm kind of, what I mean, learning how to, I guess, allow myself to be closer to people. You know what I mean? Allow myself not to behave like I live in a real nice area and I don't act like it. I'm still watching everybody. I'm still like
Hmm.
watching
Yeah,
every
it never
fucking
leaves you.
body,
It never leaves you.
and I can't have people walking behind me and so on and so forth. And I'm just like, dude, you're in a Starbucks. Like, there's
That's
nothing's
called
gonna
that.
happen most likely.
That's called
Right.
PTSD.
PTSD.
Maybe that's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to break out of it, and seeing where that goes. But it does have a profound effect on you.
I want to say something, and it's going to be controversial. People are going to get mad, especially people in the military. And if you were in the military, thank you for your service. I appreciate you so much, because you guys go out there and risk life and limb for whatever your heart told you to do it. But I say that the PTSD, I won't say that it's worse, but the PTSD growing up where we grew up, it's really bad because we're born into it, right? When you join the military, it's a choice, right? And then they ship you off for 4 years, and you're hearing the gunfire, and you're in horrible communities, these Middle Eastern communities, and everybody wants to take your head off. And then 3-4 years later, they send you back, and you come back messed up. Right? That is a given. But I want to say the way we grow up, it starts from birth, right? The little girls in the hoods that I grew up in, including myself, we have to become masculine very, very quickly. Very quickly. We don't get to be cute little girls with our little pink skirts and pushing our strollers down the South Bronx 169 and Prospect, right? Because we know the boys are out there. We know that shootouts happen. So very quickly we're dressing like this, right? Because you're not going to mess with me. And if you're a cute girl, you better be extra hard, right? Because you're going to be a target. So the PTSD with us starts very, very early, right? Military, they lose their friends. We go to funerals every other month. There was a summer where I was literally going to funerals, no exaggeration, like every 1 month to 2 months. And these are friends that I was just hanging out with. Now we're dealing with that at 12, 13, 14, and 15 years old, right? In the military, you got to be what, 18, I believe?
Yeah.
18? So kind of sort of an adult. So we're going through things that you go through in the military starting at 10, 11, 12, sometimes younger than that, depending on who your family is. Sometimes younger than that. But I'm like, we're toting guns. We're trying not to get shot. Some of us have got shot by strays. You know what I mean? Some of us got shot at. We're going to funerals to look at our friends in coffins that are 13, 14, 15, and 16 years old. And this is our norm.
Right.
So we have to look at it's to the point where my friends make fun of me because I can hear gunshots and I'll be like, that sounds like a 40 or that sounds like a 22. And he's like, what the fuck? Where'd you learn that? And I'm like, just growing up in the Bronx, I can tell the echo of a gunshot versus a firecracker. And he's like, yo, what the fuck was your life? And people don't understand how serious it is. So when I hear Haran say what he said, it's exactly it's exactly PTSD. Like I tell people, don't fucking surprise me. I know it's cute and you watch all the white teens on TikTok jump out and surprise people in the mask. Do not do that to me because one of us can get really, really hurt. So we do come from a background where there's a lot of PTSD. It's just not spoken about.
Yes.
But the shit is serious and it's just as serious as military PTSD, except we are told to walk it off, grow up. We don't have therapists. We don't take medication for it. We just carry this, into adulthood. And it takes a hell of a lot to self-diagnose and it takes a hell of a lot to work on yourself. I had to go to anger management. I had to read books, but a lot of us don't make it out. It is not a myth. So the masculinity that people say they see in women of color, you have to understand that we had to develop that armor very, very early coming from where we're coming from. And I'm just saying that because it's something that you should consider. No woman chooses to be masculine just because. The nature of a woman is feminine. Right? No one chooses. I didn't want to be 10, 11 years old, ready to throw bows every time somebody said something to me sideways. I'd rather be home, looking through my hip hop magazines and listening to my, menudo. That's what Jen wanted to do. Right. But if you're outside and the guys are acting up and this one's getting jumped and you got the Timberlands on, you have to assimilate very, very quickly or you will not survive. Just like when you go to the military. And a lot of people don't talk about that enough. The PTSD that we suffer from, that shit is real. But I'm with Haran. Don't walk too close to me. I got to see your hands when you're talking to me. I'm watching your eyes when you talk to me. Right. A raised pitch of voice means, oh, you want to fight right now. That's PTSD. Right. That shit's not normal to go around looking at people like that and watching the exits in the end. You know what I mean? But how do I get out of here if somebody that shit is real?
I told you my dad used to do that to me at 5. He was like showing me the exits. I need to know where every exit was at. He wanted me to know where everyone's hands. I mean, this is at 4 and 5 years old. Like I remember it like it was yesterday. I would never forget the first time I remember was 4 or 5, and some guy walked past or whatever, and he said, "What was he doing?" And I'm just like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, so you just gonna let people walk past you with their hands in their pocket? You don't know what the fuck he was doing? And I'm like, I'm 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he didn't care. He didn't care about that. And my brother and I, we talk about this all the time. 41-year-old mine, looking back at my childhood, our normal, right? I'm like, that shouldn't be no one's normal. Like, I should have known about these things.
Listen, I was very young. I've been a writer my whole life. I had a Barbie house with the Barbie dream house and, the little Barbies. And I used to write scripts for my Barbies. My cousins hated playing with me because they were like, we just want to comb their hair. I was like, no, Barbie walks in, right? And my cousins were like, I don't want to do the script. I was like, we're doing the script. And then Ken pulled up in the car. And I'm a little girl, right? And my dad is like, you remember one thing, only 2 people can keep a secret and one of you has to be dead. And I'm there holding my Barbie like, Dad. You remember one thing, a friend is $1 in your pocket. Don't ever dress the same as your friend because if you do something or she does something, they arrest you. I was like, Dad, the Barbie is going.
Just like my dad.
I'll tell you a funny thing. You know what? I'll tell you a funny thing. It's a very subtle thing. I know if a person has a past, one of the telltale signs outside of those things, PTSD. Outside of those things is how they hold a knife. Like a regular person, okay, a regular person
Yep.
holds a knife just by the handle, just by the
Yep.
handle. They
Big
don't touch the
mistake.
blade or anything like that. A person who's been through some shit, they take their thumb and they hold the blade and they hold
Yep.
the hand.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
remember one
we
time
never
before
even
I saw.
we
I
never
remember.
even discussed
I
that,
remember
and
one
we
time before I
know.
saw Jen. I remember time before I saw Jen, and she had a butcher knife in her hand on one of her TikToks, and I saw how she was holding it. I was like, okay, okay, because
Because
a regular
blood
person will
makes
just
it
use
slippery.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly what happened.
I want
That's
to comment.
exactly what happened.
Brianna's like, who are bunnies? Who are bunnies' aunts and uncles? What is going on?
Just
Her,
I
know
mean,
Bunny will be very
this
security,
might be
careful.
her
useful
security,
actually. Because I
her
was worried on the
security.
last
That's
one, and
Buddy's
I'm like, wait,
security.
this might be useful.
Yo,
No,
that's
no.
Buddy's
You can't let
security
you
right
can't let
there,
the knife
young
slip
lady.
out your hand. You gotta if it's stick, it gotta stick, and you got one shot.
Right.
And also, if you put your thumb on the blade, you have better control of the knife. You can, it
Yeah.
flows better with your hand.
For anyone who
I
wants
know,
to,
but
anyone who plans to get in a knife play, we're just putting it out there.
Yeah, yeah. We're not promoting anything.
What?
I'm just
What
saying.
you mean? I'm
No,
promoting
we're not promoting it.
defend yourself. I'm
educational purposes
promoting defend
only.
yourself.
Yeah, it's deep. So there's a lot of things. Going back to the corny thing, because this is a whole other topic. That hood PTSD is real. But going back to the whole corny topic, there's just things in our community that it's like because we live in that environment, how dare you be corny? Corny will get you killed here. Right. So that's really where it comes from. Like if you corny, we associate that to soft. If you're soft, I can't survive with you. It's no different. Again, it's no different in the military, right? We've all watched fucking, what was it? Was it Platoon? Where the guy was like, I want to go home, man. I got a bad feeling about this. and, was
Was
it
it Band
Barnes?
of
He was like,
Brothers? Or
was
you
it
didn't watch
Barnes?
Brother? You didn't watch Band of Brothers, I
I
guess.
did watch Band of Brothers many, 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 many years ago. I did. That's the series, right? With Tom Hanks, was it?
Yeah. No, not Tom Hanks. He wasn't in it, but
He was in it. Tom Hanks was in
No,
it.
no.
you're talking about Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah,
You're
you're talking
talking
about
about
the.
Saving Private
Oh,
Ryan.
right. I saw that one too. But I saw Band of Brothers, but like many, many moons ago. But yeah, it's a similar thing when the guy was like, "Ugh, I gotta go home. I got a bad feeling, man. He was like, well, we all gotta die sometime. Everybody wants to be, what is it, Barnes? Everybody wants to be him in the hood. Right.
Yep.
So when the corny, quote unquote, corny guy comes by, it's like, what the, I ain't going nowhere with you. You get us killed. I
Yep.
need Barnes.
It's funny,
I need Barnes.
it kind of sounds like what you described. There was a scene in Band of Brothers where the guy was freaking out, and his sergeant came to him and basically explained to him, "Hey, man, you're already dead. You're already dead."
Oh yes.
You know?
Ah.
Yeah. But I want to comment on all.
I was talking about, I think it was Platoon though, with Elias and Barnes, where the guy was like, I want to go home. I got a bad feeling, man. I got to go.
Yeah. But I don't think as far as PTSD goes, I mean, there's PTSD in all walks of life, sexual PTSD. There is no doubt in my mind that if you grow up and you are fearful of your life, or you have to change the way you are because you see people getting killed, there's totally PTSD and all that. I mean, your body, you're not supposed to be in that environment. I also want to say that when you talked about the white world or whatever, and yeah, I think that from my observation, yeah, for sure, like I don't think about how I should be or how I need to be. I think it's just a lot freer. And I don't know, Lily, if you can speak to this, because, for instance, I never forget when I saw like the first masculine black gay guy when I was younger. And I told my gay friend, I'm like, I never thought about it, because you always just assume that they were feminine, right? and but I think that but white people, all of you knew they came in all different shades. I think there's this pressure. There's a lot more pressure on people of color in this country to be a certain way, to act a certain way, and yeah, it's got to be taxing just on.
You brought up a really
something
good.
I don't have.
You brought up a really good point. I have this conversation with people all the time, and this is really answering the question, right? Because it's always shocking to me how surprised people are that masculine Black gay men exist. And I'm like, there's just as many masculine ones as there are feminine ones, if not more. But this is the thing, and I've been saying this forever. When you're naturally masculine, you have a choice. You have a choice of hiding or just being yourself. But if you come up in an all-Black environment, 9.5 times out of 10, you are going to choose to hide it, at least until you feel like you're safe, right? You even got people who are feminine that tries to hide it, and that shit is even harder, But yeah, it is a lot of pressure on a Black masculine man, or a Black man to be masculine. And so yeah, that's why you have so many. That's why the down low culture is so prevalent in our community. It is prevalent. Like, people have no idea of what it's really, really, really like. I mean, it'll shock most people.
Well, if you watch the Manosphere, you should know that the population is large.
Very large. How many followers?
It's large, right? Going back to corny, I did think about somebody. We saw very recently a man worth $300 million. Okay, and I'm not saying this was the sole reason. I'm saying this may have played a part in it. Will Smith, when he assaulted Chris Rock, right? And we all know to this day, Will Smith always says that he felt corny because he could never live up to Tupac. His words, not mine, not a rumor. That is what he said. He felt like the corny Black guy. He was the Fresh Prince, and Jada was fawning over Tupac, right? The thug who wasn't even a thug himself. Tupac danced ballet. Tupac was an actor. Tupac was a model. So even Tupac was in cosplay, in my opinion, when he joined Death Row. When he tattooed Thug Life on his stomach, I'm like, dude, you're a ballet dancer, you're an actor, you're a model. So that goes to show how important it is. You can be successful and be on top of the world and be an artist, but it's more popular in our communities to be the thug and get the tattoos and stuff. I'm like, when that wasn't really him. So Tupac had more in common, or Will Smith had more in common with Tupac than he even cared to understand. Yet Will said, I felt like I'm the Fresh Prince and I can never live up to, Tupac. He did this and he did and I'm like, that's how important it is to the men in our communities. Dude, you're worth $300 million. You're on top of the world. You're still worried that you weren't as much of a thug as Tupac? What is happening?
Well, I'll say this. It goes back to, from what I remember, I think Will Smith was I don't know if he was accepted to one of the Ivy League schools, but I think he was really intelligent guy. And his raps were accepted. They were crossover. He was accepted by the white population. I think all that plays on his psyche. You know what I mean? Because once white people accept you, you lose a little bit of street cred, right? But things are changing.
But you increase that bank account.
Yeah, exactly. You get real credit and you lose your street credit. But,
right.
That was funny. It borders on racist, but it was funny.
Yeah. Make this shit funny. Make it funny. And
that was funny.
Yeah, okay.
That is the
That
greatest
was
burn of
funny.
2023.
By
That
far,
is the
by far,
greatest
the best
burn.
thing I've heard so far in
Okay.
2023. By far.
But what I was gonna say was, taking it back to what you were saying, Jen, earlier, it's so true. Like these next generations are doing the anime. Like I think Haran can sign off on this. Like I remember in high school, like I don't know if black people listen to stuff like this on, just didn't admit it, but like there was like you either like this kind of music or you like that kind of music, and black people didn't like rock, and well, we know white people like rap and stuff like that, but it was just like you couldn't admit. So you never. I mean, there was one guy, and of course, in my high school, and of course he was considered kind of nerdy, but he liked like Metallica and stuff like that, right? But it was like you couldn't give credit, or you couldn't like it because it was corny or whatever. It was white, or in some, or country, for instance, is another one, right? But I think that's changing. I really like, listening to Haran talk about all the rock and things like that. I think it's not, at least for the black community. I think for a positive. I think some of that's changing.
I'll say this: I challenge any white person on the planet to go lyric for lyric with any John Bon Jovi album. I'm just putting that out there. I am all about my fucking Bon Jovi.
How
Don't
big
mess with
Bon
Bon
Jovi
Jovi.
was? Bon Jovi was big in the hood. A lot of people in the hood messed with Bon Jovi off the
Well,
low, man.
don't mess with me and my John Bon Jovi, okay? My Richie Sambora. Vegaverse said Jada did that to him. See the power of black women. Well, here's the thing. That's an interesting statement. Had it not been for, I love that statement. Had it not been for Jada having such a huge impact in Will Smith's life, would Will have cared what and who Tupac was pretending to be? And I say pretending. Somebody else said here something interesting, which was true. The infamous interview where Tupac was talking about women called him too nice. That is true. You can Google that. Okay. So there was a time where Tupac was like, I'm too nice. Okay. You'll see. I'll show you.
Look, listen, man.
Right. So
I think there comes a time when a lot of brothers, and a lot of brothers don't want to admit it, but there comes a time when you ask yourself, okay, well, do I want to survive? Do I want to be accepted? Or do I want this thing that I really want that bad? And a lot of times that thing that they really want that bad, they'll just like it in the shadows, like literally in the shadows.
that's such a,
They'll
isn't
go
that
outside.
horrible? Isn't that horrible?
I mean, me personally, I used to get on a lot of my boys' nerves. They come over the house, there'd be fucking Alice in Chains playing, then there'll be fucking Rakim, then I'm playing Nirvana, and they'd be like, "Yo, you playing all that white shit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am. You can leave though." You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because that was me. I mean, I'm a fucking musician. Like, come on. You know what I mean? So but. I was the weird dude in the hood. Ain't nobody really, fuck with me like that. But anyway,
Haran, you were corny.
I mean, you want to call it that? I mean, you want to call it that?
Let's just bring it all home.
If you want to call it that, fuck it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Square can still knock niggas out though.
All of it. We had that. We had to have that. We had to have that. But we were corny. We were corny.
I don't know. I wasn't in comparison to the dudes that I grew up with, and the dudes Jen. Come on, I was corny. I mean, these was official dudes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I understand what you're
saying. Be corny, kids. Kids, if you're listening, please be corny. Be corny.
That's one thing I like about my youngest brother. He's so corny. He's so different from me, and like how me and Brandon grew up. He is so corny, and I just be laughing because I'm like, oh, you could tell you were raised in a whole different environment. Like just everything is so different. The parents are different when you came. Everything's different.
And I think that what the problem, why it's problematic, what these two women were doing is because they used it, you know what I mean, as an attack to diminish his manhood. You can tell, to diminish his masculinity, and they doubled down. Right? They could have did the grown thing and said, "Well, what I meant was X, Y, and Z," but there seemed to be malice behind it. Okay. See, let me knock you down a peg, Mr. Michael B. Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
who dates white women. Because
Mm-hmm.
remember, she
Mm-hmm.
went on a rant about that as well. Okay. She went, and you know me, I have no issues with
Right.
black men who date white women, long as you don't come in here as Malcolm X. I don't care
Exactly.
who you date. I
Exactly.
don't I don't care who you date. Just don't date white women and come in here. Don't come at me with the black power fist because I'm gonna stick it up your. Anyway, this has been a great stream.
Great
Um,
string.
yeah, this was impromptu for real. So I'm so happy that you guys showed up for me. This was last minute. I was like, no, this was really nagging at me. I was like, we got to talk about the corny thing because it's not fair. And again, it's used to attack men, no different than calling black men gay. Oh, that's gay. You gay. I'm like, we're still doing the most stupid shit in
Right.
2023. Like it's like let people be them and do them. But I just thought it was rather malicious. Like I did a little research. I saw what both the women were saying and the way they doubled down, like, damn right, I'll give a I said. I'm like, you said it for what? What are you going to gain? Like, for what? This man is still on top of the world. He
Right.
still may
Exactly.
date white women,
And
right?
it's
Exactly.
okay. Because I don't see him putting down. I don't see him putting down black women. He's just dating women. He's just dating who he want to
Yeah,
date. I mean,
yeah,
it's that simple.
yeah. But that no matter what you do, it's like, it's, once people are hell bent on being miserable. I can't even say I'm not liking you because who doesn't like you for no reason? I can't
Right.
even say, people, it's they don't like themselves or their position in life. If that woman, was Serena Williams married to a white guy, would she give a damn that Michael B. Jordan is corny? Probably not, right? So, and you can't make everybody happy. You can't make everybody happy. Somebody's always going to have some sort of issue about something. But this was an
Never.
amazing conversation, guys. My heart is full. Thank you for all the different opinions. No Saint, thank you for holding us down. You're my favorite colonizer in the whole wide world.
You're
Um,
still white though. You're still white.
Yeah.
we got we got to make sure to keep
oh,
them in
God.
perspective.
Don Levon, you
Very
know
I will say
what?
one thing. I just want to
Don
say one
Levon
thing,
said,
man.
"What's wrong with white women? We're the white women that we need some white women on the panel." If you know any white women who have the cojones to come up here with us, I will welcome her. But the last time I was on a panel with a white woman, she closed her
Felt
shirt and said
threatened.
she felt threatened. She
Yeah.
felt no lie, real
I'm
talk.
like
She said she felt
15%
threatened because
white. Do I count?
you're how much?
Like 10, 15%? Do I count?
Not
You
enough.
not
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 enough
enough.
enough.
to to get out affirmative action.
Nah,
Not
you
Lily.
got
enough.
you got at least be a quarter. You got at
Not
least be a
At
quarter.
Louisiana.
least a court. We need a Karen or a Becky. Hey, I welcome them. I
Right.
welcome. If
Right.
you are white watching
Right.
in the wings,
We still
feel
got the
free to
one
come
drop
up.
rule down here. Law. We still got the one drop law down here in Louisiana.
Oh my gosh, who are we? Who are we?
It's dumb.
Um,
They deserve
no,
everything.
but definitely shit. Heather, Becky, Karen, you're welcome if you're watching, lurking, and are afraid to come up. No Saint survived, and George survived, so you're more than welcome to come on up and give us your spiel, your point of view, for sure, for sure. Don
Y'all
Levon said, "I'll get some pink toes to cam up, maybe some strippers." What? Can't they be regular white women?
Right.
I mean, the last time we seen white women on the panel was who was that? Who was that dude from Houston?
Hmm.
Him and
Hmm.
Mr. O. What
Are
was
you
that?
talking about the little
Hef.
dudes that used to dress up real
Hef.
nice?
Hef.
Yeah, but
Hef.
they were them girls. Them girls
Oh,
were stripping
oh,
on a pole in the background. It was just a mess. It was a
oh,
mess.
Oh.
the
Okay.
nonsense.
Yes,
And
Brienne. Yes, Brienne.
oh,
We had some people. We had some people that used to be on the panel, and they had like white girls stripping in the background on a pole. It was a mess, and they weren't
It
like the
was
really
a
hot strippers either.
Oh,
yeah,
that
some
makes
of
it
them had
worse.
like bullet wounds. They had like bullet
Yeah,
wounds and like stim
they were a little
patches and
rough.
shit like that. Yeah, that was a little.
Yeah,
It
That
was
was
Magic City,
hilarious.
Magic
they,
City
they were they were
rejects.
rough. They were rough. All right, guys. So
Um,
we're out of here unless someone has any parting words. I am ready to go.
I
I have
do.
one thing to
Yeah,
say.
sure,
Go ahead,
definitely. Let
Brienne.
Brienne
Go
go
ahead, Brienne.
first.
I did say that. Damn, man.
All right, I'm watching.
I was gonna say, I think everyone, male or female, should have good male mentors in their lives that tell them things straightforward. And then to end, never mention someone's daddy ever. Okay, you never know what can of worms is gonna open. Just never mention no one's daddy. Okay, just leave it alone. That's all I got. Be safe out
Thank
here.
you. Kiss Bunny for us. Haran, what say you?
Your brothers, just as cliche as it sounds, just be yourself. Because please, I mean, if you're in your 30s and your 40s and beyond, and you're still worrying about what others think about you or how you're perceived, you're just not living life correctly, man. You're just not, and that's it.
Is that it? Is that it?
I
No,
just,
that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I just would like. I wish we had one show where we had a little person that was drinking on here. I wonder where he went.
William Huntley. He's usually floating around Facebook.
It was
That's his
interesting.
neighborhood.
It
Kind
That's
was
his block.
interesting.
Okay,
Yeah, he floats around Facebook.
of
that's
like
his
that.
block.
Kind of
I've
like that.
known I've known him for many, many, many years. I mean, he gets to
Oh,
drinking. That psychopath will be on 1,000. Okay, on
clearly.
1,000.
Oh, I'm loving this
It's like,
Aaliyah
sir,
shirt.
you don't
I've
have
been
much of
looking
a
at it.
body. Slow
Oh, you
down.
see it? I just got
That is
it
my favorite singer. I know everything about her.
from Old Navy. I just got it at Old Navy.
Oh, nice.
I do want to say, fellas, I know women put a lot of pressure on you. Don't ever let it get to the point where you're running up on an Oscar stage and slapping somebody.
Yeah,
Okay,
man.
don't let a woman push you to slap anyone or hurt anyone. That's not the girl for you. Keep it pushing. If someone has you living in the shadow of someone who's quote unquote living the thug life, who used to be a ballet dancer, like don't do it. Find another woman. There's somebody for everybody. Because, men cater to women and women, what I mean, could get them in trouble. So be careful about that. And if you have PTSD, whether it's military or hood PTSD, get help for that. Talk to somebody. If you can't afford a therapist, talk to a friend, somebody you trust. Anybody else? Or we're out of here. Bet, bet, bet.
We're out of here, man.
I guess
All
we're
right,
out.
we out. All right, that's it. Tristan, what you got?
You know what? For the Michael B. Jordans, not the Manosphere people, because y'all shit out of luck. Okay, your life is done. But the Michael B. Jordans, the ones that work hard and actually building towards the future. And my mom is laughing at y'all in the background.
Hi, Mom.
Don't let whack ass people fuck with your dope ass energy.
There you go.
Nice.
All right.
I love
Good
you all.
night.
Class dismissed.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Good night. Good night, guys. See you next week. All right, guys. That was really, really, listen, that was like one of the best streams. We've had a lot of good streams, but I love that one because it was impromptu, last minute, and my people came through for me. So if you're still here, please hit that like and subscribe. Don't forget to support the show on the Block with Jen Cash App, scrolling on the bottom. Thank you guys for holding me down in the chat, all the super chats and all the Cash Apps I get behind the scenes. Hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions about it, on the Block with Jen at Gmail. If you'd like to join us on a panel in the future, please feel free, but you must show your face. We don't do avatars up here. Stay tuned for this week. We always got juicy stuff coming up for you, and I hope you're enjoying thus far. And I will see you guys next week. Have a great Monday, guys. Treat it like it's Friday. All right, good night.